So, Rings of Power, despite the fact that it sucks and no one likes it, somehow getting a season 3. I'm guessing it was most likely because they signed on for a certain amount of seasons. So, unlike, say, something like The Acolyte, which got one season and it's not getting a second season, I think because of Rings of Power, you know, what it is, it probably was like, okay, well, we'll do this. You'll get the show, but you got to sign on for like 4 or 5 seasons, um, because no one likes the show. So realistically, there'd be no reason why this show would keep getting seasons when no one likes it. The same thing with Velma. No one liked the show, and yet it got a second season, and it may get a third. I don't know. Or actually, no, didn't it say it was canceled or finished or whatever? Um, but for some shows, it's kind of like it's like a contract kind of thing. It's like, oh yeah, we'll do the show, but you need to give us like this many seasons. But no one likes the show. No one likes it. Um, the showrunners for The Rings of Power, Amazon's billion-dollar bomb, have announced that despite sagging ratings in the second season, the Lord of the Rings show, will return for season 3. It's back. Rings of Power showrunner J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay confirmed that season 3 of the Tolkien, it's not even Tolkien's Lord of the Rings adaptation, will move forward, and they're already working on it. The duo, who have virtually no experience in the industry before being handed the reins of the most expensive show ever made, let it be known in an interview with friendly outlets Screen Rant. JD Payne, we're working on it. Patrick, we're working now. JD, we're prepping now, very, very intensely. Wow, this sounds like a great conversation. That's all we can say. We do have some exciting stuff coming. It's gonna be really good. We're excited. It's gonna be awesome. How old are these guys? Because that sounds like a conversation or between like teenagers. Awesome would be a welcome change for the writing duo, who have offered up diminishing returns with both seasons of their Lord of the Rings modern day disaster. Screen Rant, it's in its article referred to the show as a hit. I mean, it hit the wall. The ratings hit, like not in a good way. You know, it had to hit it to its ratings. I get maybe. However, the only hit that Rings of Power's had experience in the first 2 seasons has come from ratings numbers. The first season came out swinging with a massive marketing campaign, yet it only had a completion rate of 37%, which means a whopping 63% of viewers tuned out, casting this prime punchline out of the will of Sauron from the body of Theoden King. Just don't. Soon thereafter, Prime Video and Amazon MGM Studios announced significant layoffs in which hundreds of employees lost their jobs. But they were still determined to come back for a second helping. And as the saying goes, second verse, same as the first. If it's brown, flush it down. Despite friendly outlets like Screen Rant providing favorable coverage, the Rings of Power couldn't hide from the actual numbers because numbers don't lie, unlike these people. Unlike these higher ups in these corporations, these producers, the writers, unlike them, numbers don't lie. The second season failed to draw even the paltry numbers of the first. The show's second outing saw an astounding 24.3% decline from its predecessor, which people weren't really watching the first one in the first place. But of course, Amazon studio head Jennifer Salk bragged to Variety, another friendly outlet, about the show's success. Obviously, very different marketing level and all that to season 1. Um, But that being said, over 55 million people at this point have engaged since season 2 launched. It was probably the first episode. The first episodes of the season always, always drawn the most. You know, you can look at Doctor Who for that. You know, you look at Jodie Whittaker and her run, her first episode got the most because everyone's like, "Oh, it's the first episode, the first Doctor who's female." You know, let's see how. And everyone's like, "Okay, I'm tuning out," because every episode after that, it was just. And by the end of her run, she was only getting like 1 million, 2 million per episode, views per episode, which is pathetic for Doctor Who, a show that has been around for 60 years. So the first episode is always going to get the most, even if it's season 2. You know, I'm sure like Velma, the first episode of season 2, same thing. Probably no one liked the show, but people, it was probably the most watched episode because it's like, okay, let's see how bad it is this season. So they're being disingenuous for coming out like in numbers for like season for like the first episode because they're always going to have the most. Note the word choice there. Saul claimed that 55 million people had engaged with the show, not watched or viewed. Engaged. Engage. Rings of Power champions diversity over storytelling with the show's creators and cast. Yeah. The first black dwarf on screen. We have such a wide, diverse cast. The first black elf. But tell us about the show. Tell us about why we should care. Because no one gives a flying crap about the diversity part of it. We don't care about black dwarves. We don't care about black elves. It's supposed to be the story of the Second Age. Tell us why we should care. Oh, yeah, the cast is great. I never worked with such a diverse cast before. How about the show? How about, I don't know, the filming? You know, going to some pretty nice places to no, oh, they're still talking about diversity. Okay, we'll just wait patiently. We'll just wait patiently. 1 hour later. And our diverse cast. Oh, fuck, they're still going. Harping constantly about race and gender within the show as opposed to anything about story quality. Yeah. This is what they do for marketing now. They don't tell you anything about what you want to hear, you know, about a story, the characters, or anything. Nope. I mean, even Peter Jackson was like, oh my God, we get to go to New Zealand. Place is gorgeous. You know, we had so much fun filming there, and I've always wanted to. You know, that's promoting your product about, you know, we're setting up this, you know, we're telling the story, Lord of the Rings, and this and he was excited. This is like, we're diverse. Oh, okay, well, I smell the ratings. It's going to be like a billion cajillion people watching. The actors often speak of themselves as though they're civil rights heroes and not modern day millionaires standing in. Yeah. Like, they're like, oh, as an activist, and I can't remember which one said, but they were like, as an activist. It's like, oh, wow, big surprise there. Um, you know, powerful women, they make people cross, and I feel blessed to play her, Guy Ladriel, and said, and to make Sauron cross. How they totally ruined her character instead of being a strong elf, you know, who's ancient and all that. They've got her in a terrible fanfic where she creams her pants for Sauron, wants him to fuck her in her ass and all that, and it's like this isn't Lord of the Rings. This is a fanfic. Like, this isn't Lord of the Rings. Actor Ismael Cruz Cordova also stated that it was a big controversy of me being the first elf that wasn't white. I love the nerve that I pinched. I really do, because that's all that we care about. I was so excited to create something new. Notice how none of these black elves exist in the future. I wonder why. A lot of people were speaking on behalf of Tolkien. I don't know if they understand the spirit of his works speak of the times. And that's how people want the show to remain. That's how they want it to remain. The shows, movies, whatever, respect the work. Especially, you see what happened with Snow White when Rachel Zegler comes out and bashes the original. People don't take kindly to it. Showrunner J.D. Payne also called critics of the show evil. The spirit of Tolkien is about evil. Oh no, they're criticizing my work. It's evil. These people are Sauron themselves. Every single one of them is Sauron incarnate. I like that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You don't come out and say that anyone who has criticism of your show is evil. Like, what are you doing? Modern day. The spirit of Tolkien is about disparate peoples who don't trust one another and look different from one another, finding common ground in friendship and accomplishing big things. That's the spirit we've tried. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. This show has shit all over the lore, taking characters and just Tom Bombadil, right? Supposed to be this happy-go-lucky person living in a forest with his wife, who's a river spirit. He, basically he's like this joyous person who sings songs and this and that. Rings of power. He's living in a freaking desert. He's not nearly as jolly or anything as the way he's supposed to be. Gandalf somehow gets his name from Grand Elf, from the he's there in the Second Age, despite he wasn't there in the Second Age. Galadriel, never a warrior, but they've got her with a sword and taking down 5, 6 Numenorians and in like 5 seconds, taking down ice trolls and in 10, having her want to fuck Sauron and like none of this makes sense because it's not true to his lore. Again, like these are the people who came out like, oh, yeah, we're gonna respect the lore. We're not gonna add anything that wasn't there. If we add characters, they're not gonna have any major impact on the plot. But we're gonna tell the story of the Second Age, and we're gonna do it in a way that would be respectful to Tolkien. Yeah, they didn't do any of that. They didn't do any of that. I think I saw some comments. 2 comments. Good. It'll be another fail, and they'll lose more money. At this point, there's no reason even for criticizing. Let all the bad products be launched and watch them go up in flames. Wallet is the strongest vote mechanic you have. Yeah. Yeah. But I'm guessing they have like some sort of like a 5 season, 7 season contract. So no matter what, even if the ratings, even if no one, like literally no one watches it, there's still going to be more seasons. I mean, actually, no. I think maybe if there's like literally no one watching it, I think they will break and say, okay, well, you're done. You're not getting any more seasons. We're breaking that contract, and um, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think because there's always going to be some few people who are like, oh my god, the show is actually really good. But yeah, season 3 of a show that no one really cares about. Um, Simply because, like I said, I think they just 5-season contract or some crap like that. But I'm not surprised. This is modern Hollywood. This is modern storytelling. Don't respect the original work. Don't respect the works of J.R.R. Tolkien or whatever. Just do whatever the hell you want, and then when people criticize it, you just call them evil. But anyway, that's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.